Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 472. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
And Brian Manjoma.
What up?
All right, for you guys watching us live, I don't know what the hell's going on with OBS. We are not showing up right now. I hope you can hear us. I hope you can hear us. What the fuck is going on here, man? So when I go to the regular Throwdown overlay and the Throwdown Questions overlay, Discord doesn't show up.
Our sound is good.
Okay.
At least on Twitch.
I legit don't know what's happening right now. And I don't think I have the wherewithal to fix it, you know.
Have you tried changing one scene to another?
Hold on, let me check
see if that does anything.
There we go. What? OBS is on some bullshit. It just decided the display's not connected right. There we go. That was a good fix. Thank you, OBS. Just changing stuff on me. Oh, anyway, now you can see our beautiful faces. We are back with another one, you know. And we got a lot of questions tonight, so let's jump right into it, you know. Mob Hit starts us off, people. What kind of, quote, large technical leap can the next Xbox deliver? Will AI play a role? So obviously he's asking, he's talking about the question, regarding, the next Xbox that they kind of briefly discussed during the, whatever the fucking business update. They were like, the next Xbox will be the largest technical leap ever. Like, we haven't heard that before, So I don't even know where to go with this one. It's like, it's like both too early, but also not too early to discuss this, Like, are there any rumors about this thing, Rich? Like, the technical wise?
There aren't any rumors that I've heard, but I was going to answer the question and say, as far as a technical leap, what can they provide next gen? How about video games? That's a good start, right?
Yeah, video games would be nice, That would be a large leap of a sort.
Nothing like having a crazy, powerful, whatever, and nothing to show it off on. It's like, what? It's almost like having a crazy, powerful sports car, and that the speed limit is only like 55.
Yeah.
Right. Come on, you want to let it rip. You don't want the idea of like, oh yeah, my car can go that fast. No, you want to go that fast.
Fucking
you want to use that
fucking
power.
Sammy Hagar, I can drive 55. Like, my man just wants to go fast, but he can't,
Exactly. He's got this crazy ass car, and he wants to go like over 100 miles an hour on his car, and he can't.
Yeah, it takes him 3 hours to get to LA, man. Not good.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, so yeah, we don't. Here's the thing. I'm gonna assume they're probably gonna go with AMD again for the chip. That I'm assuming that's gonna happen. Here's another thing. Can we get actual 4K 60? Is that even like crazy to request from a console? Or is it still too early for that?
Well, I mean, I would suspect that the next round of consoles could actually do these 4K 60, because like right now we're getting right now the current consoles can do 1080 60 with no problems.
Yes,
and so yeah.
So again, when it comes to consoles, you don't know, but yeah, probably AMD. Here's the thing: it probably will be a large technical leap compared to the previous or the current gen. Sure, it'll be more powerful, but like, compared to like whatever is out there at the time, probably not so much, Either way, here's my question. I wonder, do you think Xbox will continue that rhetoric of like, it eats monsters? Remember that shit?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, it'll eat monsters at the time that it is announced, but then once it comes out, you'll be like, "Oh no!
The monster's gonna eat you now." The
monster's gonna eat you. I mean, here's the thing: like all the consoles, like when they were announced, so they're all much more powerful than whatever was on the market at that time. But obviously, time progresses, and then everything becomes antiquated, right?
Yeah.
But it seems to happen very much closer to the launch of the console than it used to.
Yeah, once you get like a month away, it's like, all right, fuck it. It's over. But so yeah, we'll see about, again, it will be more powerful than the current Xbox, obviously. It's just don't expect, the end of the world, All right, as far as AI, who the fuck knows, man?
I mean, they've been as of, Digital Foundry was sort of talking about like a sort of how they could some games they're using this new AI algorithm inside of it to essentially perform the upscaling of things. Like, one thing about using AI to do that sort of stuff is that it, you could literally run the game at a lower resolution and it'll bump it up to
that's what DLSS, FreeSync, XeSS does. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the one good thing about using it, but at the same time, it's like, all right, so you're literally looking at your games through a special effect.
Yep.
So
pretty much, Carlos, what were you gonna say about AI?
Yeah, I mean, AI, cloud computing, all that stuff. They're usually just these shoo-in words where it's like, oh, we don't know how much of that is actually going to be incorporated. Do you need more buzzwords like blast processor and SD RAM and all this stuff? I wouldn't be surprised if some of those get thrown into the fire when Microsoft announces this. But like you guys mentioned, it's just normal par for course, same type of generational leap that we always get from these consoles.
Yeah. So
which aesthetically, it's not going to be as much.
We're getting more diminishing returns with every generation, visually.
Visually, definitely not processing wise.
No.
But visually, definitely, because we started from 8-bit. It's like the leap from 8-bit to 16-bit is massive, and 16 to 32 is massive as well. But we're starting from the basement and went all the way to 4K, which is ridiculous leap.
Again, I still maintain that the biggest visual leap came with the HD generation. After that, it's been diminishing returns. But yeah. Anyway, moving on.
It's not diminishing returns. It's just more saturated.
Yeah. Maybe not diminishing. I would say slower returns, because like games that came out at the beginning of the PS4 generation don't look as good as games that came out at the end of it. But that was a long time to get there.
We're past the S curve for sure.
Yeah. As far as AI, who knows? I wonder if they're going to do any of that Sora shit and just start generating, assets and videos like that.
Videos,
slow motion videos. But
man, those videos are crazy, man.
Yeah, you can still tell they're AI though. You can still. But I will say this: compared to that Will Smith eating spaghetti video, it's made a huge leap. Now that is a big leap, Carlos. Like, you're like, holy shit, look at this.
Yeah. I mean, it could literally just generate, obviously when you look deeper and see the issues with it, but like if you're not looking that hard, you can it's creating footage without there being any sort of content.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. If you're just scrolling through Twitter and you just look at this thing, you're just a normie, you're okay, like, oh, that's a good video. Move on, right? But obviously when you look at it more closely, like, hold on. And obviously you notice every single one of them is slow motion, probably because the processing and all that. So I expect that to get better. Will that come to games? Who knows? All right. Moving on here. Next question for Mr. Mob Hits. With the Switch 2 presumably arriving in 2025 and PlayStation not releasing anything big this year, did Xbox just come back from its 2 worst weeks ever to win 2024? Interesting. I mean, do you think they might win 2024 by default? Rich?
I don't know.
I think that's a bit too early to say, because there is still some stuff coming out this year for PlayStation. There's some stuff that we haven't really heard any announcements on. And as for Xbox, the only game we know coming out this year is Hellblade 2. The others, it's not really a confirmed, avowed, yes, but I don't think we have an actual release date for that yet.
Here's the thing, like Sony, the thing that Sony said is that they said that those franchises that you know of will be coming out. They didn't say anything about new things coming out, like new franchises
things,
and stuff like that. Yeah, they just said God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon, all those known franchises. So make of that what you will.
Yeah. So check this out. I'm going back to the developer direct. So yeah, Rich, like you said, Avowed is coming fall 2024. We'll see. Senua's Sacrifice, that is confirmed. We will be getting that May 21st. We got Visions of Mana, but I believe that's coming to everything, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's coming. What about the fuck Aura History? Who cares? Oh, here's one potentially. Indiana Jones.
Yes. It says 2024, right?
Yes,
it's okay, so that means it might get delayed then. If it's no fall, no winter, no summer, nothing, then that means that might change.
Yeah, I agree with that. But if that does land, that'll be like a big exclusive for Xbox this year. Whereas Sony has Foam Stars.
Officially not a first party.
Well,
yeah, it isn't. That's right.
Well, I will say this. I'm looking forward to Stellar Blade. That's coming in April.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's not first party, but it is an exclusive. Final Fantasy. Yeah. And another one that's also not first party, Brian. Certain Final Fantasy game. But you see the problem.
Are you listening, friends?
I am. There's a problem here.
It is a problem for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Xbox could potentially have its best year ever, but just because the other guys weren't dropping heat, we'll see. All right, moving on here, Mr. Bushido, or J-Shep as we know him. I think releasing 11 or 12 service games is overkill, but is Jim Ryan's push for live service games now validated with the success of Helldivers 2? I like this question because here's the thing. The reason they want to have so many live service games isn't because they expect all those games to be hits. They just need one of them to be a hit. That's it. If one is a hit, that's all they need. So that's what the strategy is for that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If one of them is a hit, you must commit.
That's it. That's all they need, man.
That's the thing is, like, they probably didn't spend. They obviously they spent a decent amount on that game, but the thing is that they didn't nearly spend as much as they would have on, let's say, a Hellblade or God of War or even the Miles Morales Spider-Man games, or the Spider-Man games in general. So releasing one of these could possibly keep generating. If they keep a regular update cycle on it, they could definitely keep on making more money off of it. And that's the whole reasoning behind this service game bullshit. Keep the service, keep the service alive as long to just continue to keep generating money.
That's it. Again, they only need one, two if they're really lucky.
But the smartest thing they could have ever done is simultaneously release that service game on PC.
Yeah,
I don't know what the numbers are for PlayStation to PC, but I bet the PlayStation the PC version is doing worlds better than that than that PlayStation version.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, I agree with what Manny said, but I was going to add this point because the question was, I believe it was, is Jim Ryan pretty much validated by what he said?
Yeah.
If one is successful, well, I would say this: they definitely need to learn from this experience. I have been playing Helldivers 2. I actually was going to be playing with Adam this weekend, but guess what? PlayStation has had server issues because they are overflooded right now. And they opened it up over the weekend to everybody that has PlayStation Plus. So Therefore, it has not been easy to get on there. So I kind of feel like if they learn from these experiences, if you're going to have these online service-based games, live service, and they find a way to try to get better at having these, managing this stuff, then yes, it can be successful. But it has been an absolute pain trying to get on there all weekend.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
Yeah, we have a specific question about that, which I'll get soon. Brian, what are your thoughts on this?
He's not, because the problem doesn't lie with the type of game. The problem lies with the studios. And by that, I mean, if you look at every live service game made this generation by major studios, they've all been really, really bad. Again, going as far back as Godfall. Remember Godfall, Tony?
That trash. Yep, I reviewed that.
Made by the Borderlands team. The Borderlands team. It's bad. But Suicide Squad, made by Rocksteady, it's bad. And the problem is, I don't think that major studios will be given enough room, or I don't know what it is, but it seems like major studios just will not be given what they need to make it good. And I think that Helldivers is good because they didn't have an overseeing team meddling in. They didn't have studio interference, I guess, as they call it. And I think that's what made it good. They had a vision of what they wanted. They knew what they wanted based on the prior games, again, with Magicka and Helldivers 1. So they had a vision, they knew what worked well, and they executed it. And I think that's what makes Helldivers good. I mean, what's that one made by Ninja Theory that was really bad?
Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge, yeah. Yeah, it just popped into my head, and I think that's the issue. If you're going to get Sony Studio making live service games, chances are there'll be some sort of interference from some sort of team that's saying that, oh yeah, we need to have this because Fortnite has this. And that's the wrong way to make games, because then you're not letting people actually make what is fun. Again, I'm sure that Rich can attest to this. Helldivers is doing well because Helldivers is a fun game to play. And that's the thing. If they're not making a fun game to play, then it doesn't matter how much they put into it or what studio's in there. You're just going to get Suicide Squad or Avengers, just going to get that. And I think that's the thing that it hinges on, whether or not Sony will interfere. And the reason why I bring that up is that's exactly what happened with SOCOM 4. There's lots of interference from Sony to do things in there. For example, they wanted to have golden guns because Call of Duty had golden guns. Oh, God.
Makes no sense. The game was never about that type of stuff. But no, Call of Duty has a thing, so they need to have a thing. And they shoehorned that in, and then had lots of other stuff that put in there that did not work. And where's SOCOM now? Or where's the studio? It's disassembled. Doesn't exist anymore. So, as much as I want there to be one or two that makes it good, or makes it out there, I don't think they will, because some studio or some executive will want some crap in there for the hell of it. And that's the thing that scares me.
Yeah. All right. Next question here from Mr. J. Shep. If the 4 games Xbox is releasing on other platforms, presumably PlayStation and Nintendo, are successful, I think we can assume more ports will follow. However, if the games don't succeed, does the company have a backup plan, or will more games be ported anyway? Good question. Go ahead.
I don't know. I definitely feel like this is a toe dip for them. See if they can squeeze a little bit more out of their first party titles that probably are not getting the attention or making the money that they expect it to they want it to make. So I don't will they do it in the future? I don't know. I think that I think if they don't do amazingly or do that well, I don't think that it'll be something that they'll attempt again. I think if the next thing we'll probably hear about is possibly them releasing Game Pass or something on there.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting question because if the games don't sell that well, will they have incentive to put in the money to port more games? Obviously, if they're successful, they're going to port them. But if they're not successful, I mean, right now it's a case by case basis, but it may really be on a case by case basis. That's the case,
Yeah, I feel like that. I think if it does continue, if they do continue to do it after, they'll be very, very selective as to which ones they'll do. It may not be 4; it may just be 1.
Yeah, and I also think they have to set their expectations with regard to sales because these are old games. They're not going to sell that high. Remember what happened when Rise of the Tomb Raider was an exclusive on Xbox, went to PlayStation. Nobody bought on PlayStation despite the fact that Tomb Raider has historically been a PlayStation franchise. I know it's started on Saturn, but you know what I mean? It's like game came out later, no one cared,
Here's the thing though. Would it making any sort of money be a plus? Because you think about it, most of the people who are playing these games, even despite Hi-Fi Rush and they haven't announced them yet, but despite a lot of these games being available on Steam, would any bit of money that they make off of these other consoles be a plus?
Yeah, like I would think like if they make more money than they needed to port the game, then it would be a plus. You're right. There's a positive, but they would need to make more money than whatever it costs them.
Because officially, games on Game Pass don't generate any sort of money.
Yeah, that's true.
What is it? It's the service.
Yeah.
So that's that. They're not generating any money. So if they're generating money on another thing, if they end up generating any sort of money, enough money to surpass whatever it took to develop the port, or or in general beyond what they had made, the little bits, the bit of it they made off of possibly Steam sales and on Xbox, non-Game Pass, just buying the game piecemeal. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a good question, but yeah, we'll have to see. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
I feel like most of if they have any live service games, those are going to be multi-platform regardless. I don't think
I agree.
They have that much leeway to pick and choose when they're going to put these games. They need to put them on all platforms if possible. The other games, like for example, the Bethesda games, like the mainline Bethesda games, like let's say Elder Scrolls 6. I think that they'll take that on a game by game basis. If they're desperate, they'll try to put it everywhere. If not, they'll just keep it on Game Pass.
Yeah, Rich, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, so I heard Carlos. He used that term game by game basis. It sounds very much like Phil Spencer. Let me just say this. First and foremost, it's going to be more than 4 games. I think we all know. They said that in Phil Spencer said it's only 4 games, but obviously the track record is he has said stuff in the past and it ended up being not 100% correct. So I do expect there to be more games. I think if they do have success with these 4 games, they're going to continue to do this stuff. And there is one thing I do want to say. This may be considered controversial, but I believe it's accurate. When it comes to Bethesda and Activision, these developers were already third-party studios. So I don't understand why they would have ever made that stuff exclusive to Xbox, because you're going to make more money by putting it out on every console, as it was already set up that way. With Bethesda, as you said, Carlos, the Elder Scrolls series, if they was to bring Elder Scrolls 6 only to Xbox, they will be leaving a lot of money on the table, because that could easily come to PlayStation because there are fans that already are Elder Scrolls fans. So we'll see what happens. But it's obvious. I do believe it's going to be more than 4 games, regardless of if this is successful or not. They're eventually going to have more stuff come into other platforms.
Yeah, they're definitely going to leave a lot of money on the table, considering that most people that are going to play Elder Scrolls on Xbox are going to get it via Game Pass. Mm-hmm. Just getting the revenue share of however the hell they calculate engagement in terms of monetary ways for the studios. But yeah, I don't know. The reason why they mentioned this 4 games is just to quell the fanboys.
Yeah.
To get Tim Dog, like getting them back over the ledge. That's the reason why they mentioned 4. Like what Rich said is 100% right. There's going to be more games. They're saying 4 right now, so people will be like, "Oh, 4? Okay, we're back on our whole thing, Team Green."
Yeah.
But the next game, after the 4 games, the next game might be multi-platform. It might not. But like I mentioned, it'll be on a game by game basis, and yeah, that's just how it's gonna go. By the way, shout out to Kishak who subscribed.
Thank you. Yeah, I was about to say that, but good thing you caught that. Shout out to you, brother. Or that dollars. I'm like, excuse me. Good stuff, man. All right, move on here. Got our boy Cuban Boss with a question that Rich kind of alluded to earlier. If you buy a game that's mostly online, but the online portion is broken, how fast do you move on? I asked this. Love that part. I asked this because I made the mistake of buying Helldivers 2. I loved it for about the first week, putting up with freezing in places when picking up items and having my friends hit me to get me unstuck. Dropping to barely 5 frames and having to reset the game, crashes, and more. Then, unfortunately, it became the new streaming influencer game, and the servers can't handle it. I spent my whole weekend trying to play, and when I was finally able to connect at 5 a.m. on Sunday, co-op didn't work again. After playing 30 minutes alone, I just shut it off, and honestly, I'm done. I know they said the team is working hard on hiring more developers, but there's too many games to play, and I don't have the patience for it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I to be honest, I would say drop it, because if it's not doing the thing that it's supposed to be doing, why are you continuing to give them the chance to do it? Like, if they're not doing it, then just move on. Maybe give it if it's still around, give it another chance, like maybe a year later, and see how well it's going on, it's doing. But yeah, it's disappointing, especially if was that Helldivers a PlayStation Plus game? No, it wasn't, right? It was a purchase, right?
Yeah, it's a purchase.
Yeah. Purchase. Yeah.
Purchase. So yeah, I haven't heard any issues with the PC version.
That's all I see. It's I can't get a game because of the servers are too busy.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for PC also?
For PC also?
Yeah, well, I don't know where they're playing. But
a buddy of mine's been playing the game and he's loving it. He's just played it on PC, so I don't know.
I would
maybe PlayStation is not the play. Maybe PlayStation is not the place to be playing Helldivers. I don't know.
But I don't think they have different servers for different platforms. Isn't this crossplay?
No, there's crossplay. So
yeah. So it's the same servers.
Maybe it's those PC players sucking up all the bandwidth.
Oh yeah, that master race, man. They're taking over. Go ahead, Rich.
So because as I mentioned earlier, I did try playing this over this past weekend and did not have any success. Last week, right prior to launch, had no problems. So to answer the question, what do you do if an online game is unplayable? I think just like Manny said, you may have to just move on to something else, because again, these developers, they've had issues from day one, and because there was a period of time right before it came out, because the code did come out the same time for even people who were reviewing the game. They did make mention that there was going to be an update, and I saw that right around launch week there were issues with the PC version. I thought those issues got resolved, but then again, when you have more people jumping on because they see that the game is very popular, then they really have no way to really control that right away. So I would say give them some time, but otherwise you may have to move on. And in the future, if I do see that there is, if I were you, if I do see there's a game, there's an online game coming out that you're interested in, I may wait to get that at a bit of a discount, because depending on how popular it is, at some point it's going to die down a little bit, and then they'll be able to accommodate more people to actually play the game. But yeah, it does suck. if you spent your own hard-earned money on this game, it sucks. But it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, especially the part I found interesting was like, this did become, I like to call it the Twitch game, the Twitter game, which it just took off. So I'm not surprised that because the team probably was not expecting that many people to be playing. And I'm not saying they were expecting a lot. I'm saying they were expecting that volume of it. When these fucking streamers start streaming it and their audiences start jumping on it, it's just going to be chaos. But yeah, I generally agree with you guys' point. It's like, generally speaking, if you buy any product and it's not giving you what you want, give it back, sell it back. You don't need to be dealing with that stuff, Especially an online game, the shit don't work,
This thing is the number 2 played game at the moment on
Crazy.
Steam.
Is Power World the number 1?
No, that's Counter-Strike 2.
Oh, it came back.
These are just current players at right now, like at the moment. Counter-Strike's number 2, Helldivers Counter-Strike 2 number 1, Helldivers 2 number 2, Dota. God damn, it's 2 game. All right, Dota 2 number 3, Pal World number 4.
There you go, top 5.
The top 3 all have 2 in the title.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that actually was like an online game that I know that Tony, Carlos, myself played that was really awful launch and continued to be awful for a good 2-3 weeks after launch. But yeah, we kept on playing only because it is the one, the only game that cannot die, GTA 5.
That's right.
I guess you can make exceptions if it's a game that you really, really, really love playing. But otherwise, I say, give it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and things will calm down. Again, we've seen with Power World, like, what 3 weeks now into it? 3-4 weeks now, and it's calmed down, so yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
And it's only getting more popular.
Until Nintendo comes, Real quick, this is a question regarding the previous question. GZDR is asking me, Tony, you said the 4 games are old and Microsoft can't expect high sales. Hi-Fi Rush is 2023, old. Pentiment is 2022, old. And Sea of Thieves is 2018, old. I'm sorry, dude. Any game that's not new is technically old, So, and then here's the other question. So you mean if Sony put an quote unquote old game like Spider-Man 2018 on Xbox, it wouldn't sell 5 to 10 million? No, no, it won't. Because
it'll sell a million.
Everybody, it'll sell a million, maybe 2. But everybody who wanted this game probably bought a PlayStation to play this. PS4, mind you, years ago.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I would say, I don't know how well it will do, but I mean, like, I don't know how much of a bump. Like, how much of a bump did Spider-Man get off of PC version?
Yeah, it's a great question.
It must be a significant enough a bump to essentially continue to put more titles on there.
But there's no way the game would sell PlayStation numbers the same amount of copies. No, it's not gonna happen.
No, I don't think it'll sell the same amount of copies, but I might think that it would sell at least for quite a bit of some, not all of the Xbox players, but maybe quite a bit of them will. I mean, Spider-Man does have a lot of pull, so
I'm glad you bring it up. Spider-Man absolutely would sell at least 1 million or 2, right? Some of these other games, no. PlayStation guys are not going to suddenly buy Sea of Thieves in droves, bro.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. Like, Sea of Thieves is nowhere near Spider-Man numbers. It wasn't even that when it was on the thing. What it has is consistent players, people that just continue to go into the service.
Yeah.
I mean, into the thing, not service, but play that game. Yeah, so I don't think it'll be Spider-Man numbers, and I definitely don't think it will be. I don't know what the numbers were for Sea of Thieves when it was released on Xbox, anyways. But I would say
it was on Game Pass.
It was on Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, no, but it didn't launch on Game Pass.
Yeah, we all played it.
Yeah, we all played it.
Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Game was trash.
I mean, here's the thing. Again, it could be a situation. They'll probably end up making more money off of just it being available than it did, actually being on the Game Pass. Because again, like we talk about like sales, like the fact that Sea of Thieves was on Game Pass, did that sell subscriptions to people?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I think I almost feel like I don't know. It just seems like Microsoft just wants to make some money off of these fucking games. You know what I mean? Like, put it on the other console just to see what the fuck it does, because it's not making any money over here. So,
yeah. All right. Moving on here. Another one from Cuban Boss. With rumors of the new Nintendo Switch not coming until 2025, what would be a good month to release it in? I say March is a great month, which is the same month as the original Switch was released, and tax season means more buying power for those who get their returns around that time. What are your thoughts? March, because that's the end of the fiscal year. That's why, Let's be real here. Yeah. Chris, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, the two ideal times to release a system is either pre-Black Friday, so holiday time, when people would be looking to purchase gifts, or if your fiscal year ends in on March 31st, you could do that. Now, I don't think the Switch launch was ideal for Nintendo because they're coming off the Wii U, so I don't know what factors led into that decision, because it released only 2 weeks before the end of their fiscal year. So it could bump that report, which was abysmal up until that point when the Switch launched. But you only have 2 weeks of runway before it ends, and you have to count all those, all your net sales and profits and everything made off of it. So ideally, you want to launch it earlier, right? And so the best time to take advantage of that is the holidays. It's not too close to the end of your fiscal year. You want 90 days of lead time to accumulate a good amount of sales, buzz, and all that stuff. So I would think the ideal time is probably mid-November to launch it. But that's just what I think. They could do the same thing. They could be like, hell, we had success the last time. We launched it in March, so let's do it again. That could be the case.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see. Again, obviously the Switch 2 is very much a rumor at this point. Kishak, what's going on, brother? He goes, question, will the new Switch have a dumb name or be called Switch 2?
I mean, it's Nintendo.
Yeah. And Nintendo's never done like sequel number like names.
Yeah, they've only done like Super or like added something to whatever it was.
Yeah, but it's never been like Nintendo 2 or Super Nintendo 2. They never done that before.
No.
So I don't think it'll be Switch 2. It'll be Switch something though. It'll switch something though, because think about it. They kept the Wii U thing, the Wii name in there.
Yeah. I think it'll have something Switch. It'll be something.
Maybe it'll be the Switch Advance.
Yeah.
Or we could call it the Super Switch.
Super Switch.
Switch.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's something.
Switch.
That's something. Paris says it's going to be the Super Nintendo Switch.
Super Nintendo Switch.
So it'll have Switch in the name, but it won't be 2. All right. A quick comment from Cuban Boss. He goes, I'm sad to hear that Adam is no longer a permanent member of Throwdown, but I wish him nothing but the best, and I understand. And he says, I'm also happy that Richard Bailey Jr. is a regular. I always appreciate his insights.
Thank you, sir.
Good stuff. And yes, we are, for you guys who didn't hear the Thursday show, Rich is now a permanent member of Throwdown. We couldn't be happier to have him here, man. It's good stuff. Yeah. By the way, the whole Adam thing and Rich thing announcement, that wasn't planned exactly.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened that way,
Yeah.
Like we knew Adam was like taking more time off, and I was like, well, I think we need like somebody, a little bit more permanent. But I didn't know he was like leaving. That I had no idea, but it kind of worked out. But obviously, the door's always open. Adam's very important member.
Again, like Adam's got a lot going on, and it's whenever he feels the fury come along, it's always the fun, good to have him, come back in and say what's up.
Yeah.
Originally, the original reason why Adam came on the show was because we weren't sure what the state Brett was going to be in after the passing of Rachel.
Yeah.
So we called up Adam, again, keep it in the family to sort of, fill in the space. But then once Brett started, felt that he was ready to come back on, we had our big old crew. So, yeah.
That's it, man. And it is interesting just with regarding Adam, like you said, like he was able to maintain his lifestyle. I guess he had to change things eventually, Which makes sense.
that was the question I always ask with Adam. And like he has, he's got 2 kids, he's got the wife, and he's got the house. How do you balance all of that sort of stuff? And you know what? Sometimes you need to reconfigure things and give your time to the right things. You can't always be sort of locked in your room,
Yeah.
Doing the things you do. You got to have go out there.
Yep.
So yeah.
There you go. Blitz says it. He's a father too. He goes, family comes first. There it is.
Yep, family comes first.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about the things going around during the pandemic. It's like talking about quiet quitting. We thought this was quiet quitting in the beginning, but it turns out like with Throwdown, like everyone, Chris, he had a kid during the show and he needed time. So like when someone needs time, like it's always more important, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
We've been running long enough to where all kinds of life-changing events happen to a lot of us. So it's like, is what it is. Take care of your family.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Since you brought up Chris, Carlos, we have a question here for you, Chris. From a certain person called Romudeath. I wonder who this guy is. I've heard that name before. Very interesting character. I heard he runs afoul of the Xbox community now. So he's asking one question, then he also has a sponsor question. We'll get to that one next. First one is, Chris, can you break down the recent Sony financials and discuss the most important things that you found? So if you can, that'd be good to talk about.
Yeah,
Whoop.
sure.
Let's go. Financial time.
All right. So looking at the latest financial report from Sony, I noticed something really interesting. So their third quarter has been very good in terms of sales, right? But not in terms of operational overhead. This is a little awkward. I was trying to figure out how they had such a downturn in operating income. So I'll talk about the sales first, and then I'll go into the rest of it. So this is converted into US dollars. This is in billions of dollars. Across the board, except for the electronics segment, they've had year-over-year big increases in sales. PlayStation, which is referred to in the report as Games and Network Services, almost 16% increase. Converted it roughly based on the foreign exchange rate. It should be about 9.63 billion in sales this quarter versus 8.31 billion in Q3 2022, sorry. And then music, pictures, every other segment had a increase about 10, the imaging at 20%, which is kind of surprising, but I think they're licensing a lot of their tech out to other companies, so that probably was part of that increase. Their financial services had a huge increase. I'm not sure why. I don't want to get sidetracked. I just want to point that out. It was a 1,200% increase in their financial services segment profits. So, sales.
Chris, I gotta jump in because I'm looking at this graph and what the fuck? What? Because I'm like 1,200%. What is financial services? Like a bank or something? Like what is that?
Yeah, this is only offered in Japan. Sony offers services similar to Fidelity or TD Waterhouse.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. So they run investments for private clients, but it's only offered in Japan. So for some reason there was a huge upturn in that. Not as much as it's been in previous years. So there must have been a downturn last year, and then it's gone back up. So people are investing again. They're utilizing the service, and so they made it bounced back big time. So that's at 1,200%, which is nuts. But if you look, I put these charts out every quarter for Sony to show the breakdown of sales between the different segments, and that blue part of the pie. So for those just listening audio only, this quarter PlayStation accounted for 37.9%. So it's roughly 38% of net sales for Sony Global Corporation, right? So it's the biggest segment still of Sony. Just to compare it, music is 11.1%, pictures is 9.6%, electronics is 19.3%. So PlayStation accounts for a huge chunk of sales for Sony Global overall. But the thing I noticed, and I don't here, I have the breakdown here, and I have to use their I have to use the Japanese numbers here because I didn't have a space for their operating income before amortization, before depreciation, amortization, and operating income in general. But if you look, so their sales are up. So that's the 1,444.4 billion yen. But if you look at that center bar, that's their operating income for this quarter, fiscal year, only 86.1 billion yen. And so I was like, that's odd. That's really low compared to the past. Like you look at Q3 for the last fiscal year, it was 116.2 billion yen. So it's like, where's the drop coming from? And if you look at their in their statement, so for sales, they said they had an increase in sales of non-first party titles, including add-on content, and they accounted for the impact of foreign exchange rates. So the yen stronger against the dollar and the euro impacted this performance. But their operating income, they stated the first line, increase in losses from hardware mainly due to promotions. So I guess their marketing budget has kind of exceeded where the console sales are headed. So the sales are down, right? So they didn't account for, they probably put extra marketing against the sales drop off, and it didn't work. So
is that what mainly due to promotions means? Like promotions means advertising?
Yeah, it could. It's any segment of marketing. So yeah, so that's what that do. And the second line was impact of decrease in sales of first party titles. So this is why I wanted to focus on this, and then their forecast for the rest of this fiscal year. They say decrease in sales of hardware resulting from lower unit sales. So that's not good. So they're in a downturn for PlayStation 5 sales. Now the problem with this is, at a time when you're having a downturn in sales and stagnant network subscriptions, which is PlayStation Plus subs, the last thing you want to do, which we talked about in the last show, was say that you don't have any first-party titles really emerging the next fiscal year. So fiscal year 2024, with not first-party titles, you'll have to rely on third-party titles and your current services to keep the platform going. And so they're in an awkward situation because software drives hardware, right? This is the same thing we keep saying about Xbox and why they're in the situation they're in. Unless they are making a gambit to push their development cycle into PlayStation 6 or something else afterwards, it looks like they're letting the PS5 coast, which is not really coasting; it's kind of falling. But this doesn't look good right now, right? If you're having lower unit sales and you don't have software driving it, and you'll have to lean on third parties and whatever to drive it, but you're still having a downturn, that's not a good sign for the rest of the year. So I'd have to look at the final report, which will probably come in April. Sorry about that.
Chris, real quick,
yeah.
does this report say that, because you're mentioning the hardware sales going down, because what I read was that Sony originally projected to sell 25 million units PS5, and now they put it down to 21 million. Like it seems like this is what this is telling. Like I don't know if this report says those specific numbers, but that's what that segment you were talking about pretty much aligns with.
Yeah, so they did lower their net sales projections for this fiscal year. They had a correction in it. Don't have that.
You don't have to bring it up. I was just curious if they discussed that.
Yeah, they do discuss that. They have here's their forecast for sales, and it's down. They downsampled it to 210 billion yen. So they're expecting a lower unit sales performance, right? Yeah. And we'll see that when it all shakes out. The fiscal year ends March 31st, and then they'll have a call, I don't know, April 15th for investors and whatever, and then closer to the end of April, then it'll be public, and I can do this again to see what they forecast, because that'll be important. What they say in that call, and we'll get the transcript later because I'm not an investor, so I can't listen to what is said. I'll have to wait till they release this publicly, and there's a transcript of what they say for the forecast and what the investors ask them, like what their plans are, so then get a better idea. But looking at this initially, I was kind of surprised at their direction going forward, considering they're having decreased hardware sales, and unless they have I don't know what the lineup exactly looks like, besides like certain titles that are exclusive, like Stellar Blade and whatever. I don't know what else going to the end of the year looks like for third-party exclusive launches for PlayStation, and how that stacks up, or how that will affect hardware sales. But it doesn't look like this will slow down. It looks like they're going to keep decreasing hardware sales. And if they have no first-party titles, then they can't count on that. And non-first-party titles is just really third-party sales, and whatever they're making off of network subscriptions to play online and add-on content. So that's what they're really looking at relying on for the fiscal year going forward. And so I don't know if that's a good strategy, and I don't know if that means like they're just going to put their eggs in the next basket for the next console. I can't speculate too hard on that until I see the final report for the year.
And then, as we know, again, I'm not sure if this report says it, but Sony said that the interim president said that the console is now entering the latter stages of its life cycle. So everything you've been saying so far kind of aligns with that as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting too. It's like, you know what? I'll give my thoughts on that when you finish up here.
I'm pretty much done. I will only say that I know what, like you said, what the interim president said. I don't think, looking at this, that's a good strategy, but I don't know what he knows, and I am not sure what they have planned for launches, or what they have planned for offerings on PlayStation Plus or whatever to kind of offset this. But seeing the downturn in hardware sales, that's not a good sign. You'd want to stem that unless you're dumping the hardware fairly soon.
Yeah. And then related to what we were discussing here, Kishak says, I bet the last 3 to 4 years of PS5 will be crazy. And Blitz says, oh yeah, they will no doubt have a heap of content in the next few years. Will they? Think about it. We're already in the latter stages of the console. I'm not even trying to joke here. It's like we're already in the latter stages of the console, which is 3 to 4 years. We know for a fact they're not going to have anything new this year. And since these games take so long to develop, we already know their upcoming pipeline, right? Death Stranding 2 and things like that. You're not going to get a big AAA game that's going to come out of nowhere and surprise you. The big AAA games, you know about them years in advance. So everything I've seen so far gives me no indication that we're going to, outside of like Wolverine or something, that we're going to get some massive in the last 3 or 4 years of this system. You know, I hope I'm wrong, you know, but yeah.
I don't think per se that. I think whatever's in the pipeline is in the pipeline. But yeah, I think in general with that thing that they had said that there's not going to be any sort of. They didn't say there wasn't going to be any big. Games.
There are no new IP, first party IPs in this year. That's what they said. Just to be specific, that means we can get sequels and all that. We can get those of big franchises.
Yeah, we won't be. Yeah. And we won't be getting, God of War and those games.
Yeah, we're not going to get shit like that. But yes, but again, we already would know what they're coming out with because these games take so long. They need to be announced way beforehand. They're not going to just stealth drop something that's like a big AAA game. That's not going to happen. Yeah. You know, not the way that used to be the case back in the day, but not anymore with these long development cycles.
Which most definitely means that they underestimated the development time for those 12 service games. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Blitz, you're right. He goes, it could be a new IP or something from a small IP. I agree with that, but it's not going to be a AAA. Yes, there will be smaller games for sure that could be dope or could be advantageous, like Helldivers. But I'm talking about those big blockbuster games that Sony's known for. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, like it's most definitely whatever, it's not going to be Naughty Dog because what's Naughty Dog doing? Naughty Dog has been working on Factions for how many years?
They scrapped it.
They scrapped it. So that means they probably don't have anything in the pipeline right now, like anything, anything new that's coming out in the pipeline anytime soon.
Yeah, Rich, what's up?
It sounds to me like they have lived up to their name because they've been very naughty with their budget. All that money spent on that Factions multiplayer game that never came out. Ridiculous.
I think, to be honest, that they should have saw this a long time ago. Nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry, nobody gives a shit about Last of Us Online. The last one didn't do amazing.
2 dudes on Twitter,
Two people on Twitter. I'm sorry, like it really wasn't a factor. And for them to even think that they were going to be putting this into this, they should have just dropped that idea a long time ago and put Naughty Dog onto something, something significant than that.
GZDR mentioned something interesting. He said Bloodborne remaster 60 frames per second.
That ain't happening.
We haven't even gotten Shadow of the Earth Tree. When are they going to do that?
Yeah. And here's the thing: we might not get that. It depends on who works on this. But we talked about how they're not going to have these big new AAA first party IPs. But you know how Sony does. Oh, we got remasters for days. We got another Last of Us remaster. Do you want a remaster from a remake? We got the remaster from the remake. Let's get these titles.
Where's Exhibit? Yo, dog, I heard you like remakes. I got a remake for your remake.
We got Shadow of Colossus remake. We'll remaster that. We got a Horizon for Zero Dawn. We'll remaster that. We'll remake it. Update the AI and call it a remake.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned that, Carlos, y'all are aware that the Horizon is coming to PC next month, right? The Horizon sequel.
West. Yeah,
Forbidden West.
Yeah,
there you go. PC ports. Let's go. So yeah, I would temper my expectations for the latter half of PS5's life cycle. It's probably going to be a lot like the first half. Prepare for more remakes and remasters. What a fucking shitty generation this has been, man. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's like, man, shit is bleak. All right, let's move on. Next question here. Mr. Romulan here, sponsoring a extra question from Mob Hits. If PlayStation games come to PC on day one, would you jump ship? I'm going to go around the room. Yeah, Carlos already jumped in. Yeah, I also would as well. But I want to hear from the other guys who are not crazy PC nuts. Manny, you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't.
Nope.
Yeah. Rich, what about you, man? Would you decide to build a gaming PC if this happens?
Well, I do have a PC right now. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that are out of date on this PC. So my answer is no. PlayStation 5. I would stay with the console.
Yeah. Chris, what about you?
I would not jump ship only because I share Manny's philosophy in that I work on computers all day, and while I do enjoy some PC gaming, I love the Steam Deck, and I love that I don't have to be in my office or anything to play. So if there's a parity between PlayStation or PC, I would rather sit in my living room and play PS5.
Yeah. So that's half and half. Me, Brian, and Carlos would be like, "Yep, done."
The tiebreaker would be Adam. If he was
Adam would be the
Brett.
tiebreaker. Yeah.
And Adam wouldn't. He wouldn't go to PC.
No, he wouldn't go to PC. Yeah, and again, but there's also stipulations, right? I need the cross save, and I especially need fucking trophies. Like to say, I need all my shit to carry over. If they don't have that, then sticking with the console. But if it's perfect parity, yes, absolutely, man. Because, and I said this on the last show, I'm already at a point where I'm playing PlayStation 5 games. I'm like, why the fuck? Again, I understand it's a console. There's compromises, but I don't want to compromise anymore, right? I'm playing a certain game right now that I can't name. I have to choose quality or performance, and neither is really giving me what I want. I don't have to worry about that on PC, And also in my case, and also admittedly, I live in a studio apartment, I could make that separation between here's where I work and that's where I game. There's because I obviously don't want to be shackled to a fucking screen all day. It's like, hey, I'm done with work. I'm gonna keep staying here and keep playing games. Like, no, games over there on my TV, work over here with the monitor. So I get that you need that separation.
I also think you have a situation that's fairly unique to other people.
Literally, my PC is in the middle of my workstation and my TV. It's like right there. I don't have to worry about like wires or anything like that.
Yeah, you just run an HDMI over to your TV set, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, it's already plugged in, and then because I basically replicate the console experience with PC. I'm still playing with a controller. I'm still doing all that.
But I don't know if this was asked, but there's the rumor of the set box Steam Deck that's been floating around as of late. That is an interesting prospect.
Oh, for you, right? Because to me, I wouldn't even consider. I'm like, I got a PC already. But you obviously, for someone like you, that would be perfect.
Yeah. That's an interesting prospect right there because, I can I'd be more inclined to play more PC titles if I could just play them in my living room.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? Steam Deck set top?
What, the second try at the Steam machine?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
They do it. If Valve did it themselves, right? Don't do what you did last time. Don't have Alienware and all these guys start making their own shit. You set the hardware, just like the Steam Deck, you pick the parts, build it, whatever, and retail it. I would do that for sure. Yeah. I would happily do that and then just have it downstairs. And also between Steam, you have streaming. So if there's something you have on the PC, also it has cloud save, so I never have to worry about that. But I would be down for that. If they get it right this time, if they build it just like Steam Deck, if they build the system themselves and market it and it's good, I would get it.
Yeah. Kishak says the trophy system itself is like a DRM where it gives you the rush of completing games. And the thing is, I don't really, that aspect of trophies doesn't really, I don't really care about that. It's more of like, here's a record of the things I did, and here a record of the games I played. That's what I like. The whole competitive aspect of trophies never appealed to me. It's more of, here is what I have done. I have a record of this. That's what's appealing to me, you know? Although in some cases it is fun getting the trophy, 100% because the platinum, because it's also me showing like respect to the game if it's really, really good, you know. But generally I just like having that sheet there, you know. All right, good stuff. Let's move on. Next question. Presty71. This one's funny. How can the people running Ubisoft be that oblivious and out of touch with their games to embarrass themselves? He goes, the quadruple game comment has made them a laughingstock in the wake of Skull and Bones' poor reviews. All right, so I didn't know about this shit, Rich. So I had to investigate. Yeah. So apparently, Ubisoft considers Skull and Bones a quadruple game, quadruple A game.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck? Can you enlighten us on this?
That was a statement made by I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name.
Our boy, Yves Guillemot.
There you go. Yes, he made that statement, and obviously, those of us who have been watching this game, we kept seeing it kept getting delayed and pushed back, and then I guess they decided, okay, we can't delay it no more. We just need to release it now. So that's what they did. They released it, and I haven't really seen any positive. I guess there's some mixed thoughts on it. I haven't played it yet. I am going to play it at some point, but I haven't played it yet. But I will say this. You guys mentioned Sea of Thieves earlier. I mean, I think the timing of Sea of Thieves going to PlayStation is, I think other people might be more interested in Skull and Bones, I guess. I don't know, though, but I haven't really tried it out yet, so I can't really say for sure. But, well, I guess we're going to find out in the weeks ahead if that's the case.
Yo, Rich, you're like this. Blitz says they get an A for each time it was delayed.
There you go. That is excellent. Yes, I love that comment.
So they literally say, because the game's $70, right? So they're justifying that price, saying it's a quadruple A game.
Well, was it developed on the International Space Station? Like, what makes it
well
quadruple A? Like, did they get Martians involved?
Well, to be honest, I will say this. I'm waiting for a game that is considered a quadruple A because Microsoft also said the same about
I remember
the Dark Perfect game they're working on, and then you ain't heard nothing else about this game since. So that's why I say
Perfect Dark.
I don't know. I think that's it. Yeah, the Perfect Dark reboot, and that studio. I don't know what's going on at that studio. There's been some layoffs and all types of activity, but I don't know what's going on with that game.
Let's
But Rich, I ask you, what justifies a quadruple A game? I mean, does it need a multi-billion-dollar budget? Does it need to be blessed by the Pope? Like, what?
Chris, I got your answer, Chris.
Yeah.
A single A game. Let's say a single A game is an indie game. Game made by a small team, a little bit of money. Double A game is a game that maybe has some funding from a big publisher. It's like, oh, we'll give you some scraps so you can make a decent game. Sony or Tencent or whatever. Triple A game is a game that has massive budgets. Talking about Last of Us got the backing of Sony under Naughty Dog, and they're putting in probably over $100 million to make the game. Or if it's like Destiny, it's $500 million. Quadruple A game, you have the backing of a whole country. Because apparently this freaking game, the only reason why it wasn't canceled is because freaking Singapore is mandating this shit to be made.
That's right. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's the extra.
It needs UN funding.
Yeah. hold on. If that's the case, that Singapore is like funding it or whatever, they're demanding it comes out. Does that mean if this game doesn't come out that, remember, this is Singapore, does that mean the punishment will be lashed in the streets? Like, whoosh, whoosh. Are they going to do that? Are they going to do that to like Yves Guillemot? Or, 13 lashes, in the back. Remember that shit with that American who was doing some shit over
graffiti.
there? Yeah, for graffiti. They lash his ass in public,
They made an example of him. That's what you need to do, man.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around in our country, son.
Lash each moon. Oh man.
Homeboy, stay out of Singapore.
I mean, to be honest, I feel
Like, yo, don't go there,
I feel like with the situation of Skull and Bones,
they're going to be Singapore after this. Nice one, Rich. Blitz.
That is good.
I think the thing about like Skull and Bones in general is like it was already long in the tooth. When it should have come out was years ago, right?
Yep.
Now it's out. It's literally an ancient game, a game from the past. It wouldn't have done anything. I think they just wanted to put it out to just get it the fuck over with.
Yeah, Rich, you know what I find interesting? Remember, you and I, we played this game at E3 in 2018, right? And even then, the game had already been in development for like a year or two,
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because this is the game that Gary was looking forward to because I remember he also was playing the game and he actually wrote a preview about it. But I told him about it the other day. The game is out now. It says, "Oh well, who cares? This is too much time has passed, so it doesn't matter now."
Man, that sounds like me with fucking superhero movies. Hey, Deadpool 3's coming out. I don't give a shit. I'm done. Fantastic Four finally making a real Fantastic Four movie. I don't care. So I feel Gary on that. It's like at one point you just stop giving a shit. I got to read this quote though from Mr. Guillemot here. His reasoning for why the game's $70. You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete the game is. It's a really full triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run. Okay, bro. But to give the devil his due, there has been many instances of Ubisoft releasing an online game that initially doesn't do well, that goes on to be a fucking massive hit. Rainbow Six Siege, anyone, the fucking what's the name of that game? Like you had different kinds of soldiers fighting each other. Starts with a U, I think. Or I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, right?
For Honor,
yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
The Division is another one. It eventually did very, very well. So we'll see about this because I do agree the game's just too fucking old. It's literally Black Flag without like shipboarding. Like you don't have shipboarding. What?
Yeah, this this game's old because it was compared. Remember, it was rival to Sea of Thieves before Sea of Thieves even came out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
it was like the counter programming. It was like the Deep Impact to what's the fucking movie called? Armageddon.
Yeah, or the Volcano movies that came out the same year. Fucking crazy. All right, moving on. Who is this? Eurocar? Who is this guy?
Is he on me? Wait, is it Eurocar 1 or 2 or 3?
He's the ninth version.
Is the ninth version? Okay.
So not only does he have his own questions, he's also sponsoring a question. But let's ask voluntarily, involuntarily answering a sponsored question. Okay, but here's the first one here. If a Switch 2 comes out early in 2025, who on the Throwdown crew will likely get one? I hear crickets. Where the crickets at? Play them.
Rich, would you get a Switch 2?
Let me see. Hell no, I will not get a Switch 2. Now let me explain why. Okay, I don't dislike Nintendo. I haven't really. Some of the games they have, they don't really appeal to me. There was a point in time where they did appeal to me, but not so much. But now that the Steam Deck exists, I will buy a Steam Deck 2 before I get a Switch. Any Switch, whether it's this Switch or Switch 2, it doesn't matter. I think the Steam Deck is what I would do because I do have a PC right now. I've been playing some stuff on PC. So, yeah, Steam Deck is something I definitely will get, but Switch 2, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? The Switch was the first like Nintendo console that I bought, since Super Nintendo. Obviously, I didn't buy the Super Nintendo. My mom did. I was fucking 11, but that was the first Nintendo console I had all that time. And one of the main reasons, among many, that I didn't opt for a Nintendo system is because of these horrible controllers they have, right? With the Switch, when the commercial started, you saw the Joy-Cons, like, here we fucking go. Here we go again, right? But then they had the Pro Controller. I'm like, oh, I'll give this shit a shot, right? And obviously, I was a game reporter. Like, let me just buy the system, right? I haven't touched that thing since Metroid, the Samus game, right? And then, like, before that, who the fuck knows? I played the 32X more than the fucking Switch, to me, it was a waste of money. And even from the beginning, I had my complaints. Obviously, the graphics weren't there, but then it really comes down to the games, right? They don't make the kind of games I care for. So, listen, I gave Nintendo an honest shot. Not for me. So I am not interested in buying any Nintendo systems moving forward. And thankfully, I don't have to own their systems anymore since I'm not a full-time game reporter anymore. But no, it's just a waste of my time, waste of money. It's not what I want a system. It doesn't have to. Steam Deck gives me what I want in a portable system. Nintendo, good games, good graphics, power. Switch ain't it, and I don't expect the Switch 2. I know it's going to be more powerful than the current Switch, but it's going to be on PS4 levels. We're done with that generation. We're already on PS5. Like, come on now. So
maybe they'll finally get Grand Theft Auto running on it.
Yeah. Where's that at, motherfuckers? Where is that at?
Still not on there, by the way.
IGN, fire him. Where's it at? Where's it at? That's all I'm going to say. Manny, I'm going to assume you're not interested either.
I mean, I don't know. There's not enough on a Switch for me to sort of justify it. Like a Switch 2. The one I didn't really have an interest in. Switch 2, I really like. The only thing I would want to play on there is Mario, the one with the hat, Mario
Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah, that one I was the only one that I would like to play, but I have to say, because I really liked the one they did for the Wii and the other ones that they've made. So yeah, that's about it. And I again, I usually like to have more than one reason to pick up a game. Granted, Mario games are a system seller, but I want a specific type of one, and it's not there. So that's about it for me.
Yeah. Carlos.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely have to think about. I mean, if this was 8 years ago, new Nintendo console, I don't even have to think about it. I'm getting it. The Switch, I don't have as much hate for the Switch as a lot of other folks do, but the hardware was the biggest disappointment for me because, man, playing. First of all, it's a hybrid console, so there's two ways to play it, and I hate both of the ways. For me, you either play it portable with those freaking Joy-Cons that are made for freaking for kids' fingers, not for grown ass adult hands. Like, it's so uncomfortable. It's more uncomfortable than the freaking PSP. So I didn't like that. And when you put it on the TV, it just didn't look good on a 4K monitor or 4K TV. It looks like blown up, and it sucks. I mean, the Switch Pro controller is good.
Yeah,
I like the Switch Pro controller, but playing it on TV is just not good. And using a Switch Pro controller to play it on that little ass screen on the Switch is a no go as well. So that's just my biggest issue with it. The games, I do enjoy the games. I enjoy the Marios. I enjoy the Zeldas. I even enjoy the Pokemons from time to time, even though I've said this for freaking decades. They need to step their game up. But yeah, I mean, I will have to wait and see just to see what the specs are for this, and hopefully the release lineup is decent. If they say, okay, this is a 4K system, and it's going to launch with Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever the new Mario, the mainstream Mario 3D Mario game is, then I'll likely probably buy it. But if they don't announce a compelling title and the hardware doesn't look that great, then I'll probably just pass or wait for something better to come out.
Yeah. Brian, go ahead. You go next.
Yeah, actually was thinking about it as you guys were answering, and my answer is just kind of funny because at first I was like, probably I would if it comes with Pokemon Legends Arceus 2 and an OLED screen. But then as I thought more and more about it, I was like, do I really need to play that game? Like, I have Power World. It's just more of that. So it's kind of like, okay, so if it won't be for the games, then for the system. Again, the whole reason why I got the Switch in the first place was it was a portable device I could play anywhere at home, so upstairs, downstairs, in beds, in the garden, and I could play lots of indie titles, so like Devolver Digital games. Because again, I don't want to sit here with my beast PC and play like a wizard with a gun. It's just not the same. Makes no sense. I'd rather be playing something else. But then the Steam Deck comes along and it does exactly that and more. So it's like, I don't think I would. Like, even the reasons that Carlos mentioned, like, again, the Mario games, fine. I played Odyssey. I was happy with that. I'm not really itching for another Mario game. Zelda, I played it. Not really itching for another Zelda game. And Pokemon, as I said, I am done with it until they fix it in general. So I don't think I have anything to get the Switch for. So yeah, I started off like it. If you'd asked me first, Tony, I would have given some reasons. But now I've thought about it. No, nothing.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
I think so. Not for myself, but Kristen loves playing the Switch. She's playing Pikmin 4 right now, and my daughter loves watching it. So I got a couple of games for her on there. She loves cars, so I got one of the Cars racing games. So for that reason, I myself, I don't touch it. I haven't played the Switch in I don't know how long. I didn't even start Tears of the Kingdom, even though I was planning to. I was just like, meh. So for me, if it was just me, I wouldn't do it. But since Kristen loves playing it, and I'm hoping it's backwards compatible, I think that would be a deal breaker. I think if they come out with a new system and they're like, we have a whole new platform and we're not supporting the Switch cartridges, then I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. But for me, I mean, I love the Steam Deck and I mostly play on their PS5. So
yeah, there you go. Kishek has an off-topic question. He goes, has anybody on the panel been to Japan? Carlos, you may have an answer for this.
Yeah, Eurocar 9 has definitely been to Japan. I've been to Japan once, 2017. I went to Japan right after I beat Persona 4, which was awesome because a lot of the places that I visited were in Persona 4. In particular, the Shibuya station where a lot of the spirits are. So got to delve into that. But yeah, Japan is awesome, man. Haven't been there since, but been wanting to. I was planning on going back in 2020, but COVID fucked everything up. But yeah, if you have any more specific questions, I can answer in the chat.
Nice. All right. And then a sponsored question, but it's actually directed towards it was for Brian and Brett, but Brett's not here, so Brian, this one's for you now. Are you impressed with the success? This is a sponsored question from Jay Shep. Are you impressed with the success of Helldivers 2 on PC since you were interested with the success of Pal World?
Yep, it's actually been doing really well, and I am surprised because I thought that it was just going to launch and then just be stagnant, but it seems like every 2-3 days it just sets like a new record. Because I remember a couple of days ago, they were saying that it just hits like 250,000 concurrent users, and then now it's like 350,000. So it's doing really well. I'm happy for them. Again, these guys made Magicka, so I love that game. So yeah, I'm very happy for their success. And again, it's currently, I think, Carl said, it's like second highest number of concurrent players, which is again extremely good. I mean, it's beating Dota. You know, like any game that beats Dota is doing extremely good. And then the other games after that are Power World, and then two Battle Royale games, and then Baldur's Gate and Call of Duty and GTA. So it's beating out like noteworthy titans. So yeah, well done to them.
Good stuff. Have you played it, Brian, by any chance?
Nope. Too busy with Power World and Spiritfarer. So, and plus I've been hearing that it's not much fun by yourself. It's more fun when you have a group of friends. And with randoms, I've heard things on either side. So,
oh boy,
it's more of a case of I just don't know. Okay, I actually was having a internal monologue with myself on this game, and the idea I had it compared with was Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter, that's a game that you can play with however many players and whatever configuration, and fine. You can play it by yourself, it's a great game. You can play it with randoms, it's fun. You can play with people that you know, it's fun. With Helldivers, I'm just not hearing that same sentiment where it's just fun no matter what. So it's kind of leading to the point of maybe you do need to play with friends so that you can coordinate and sync up. So, you know, so it's like, okay, do I really want to do that, given that, again, if I start now, like, there's still some other games that came out recently that I want to play. So that this Fangya game came out, and then Pacific Drive came out. So I really want to get through those before Dragon's Dogma 2, because after that, then I don't really care about anything else. So it's more of a case of I would like to, but honestly, I don't think I will get around to it.
Yeah.
Sure,
but regardless, you're impressed by its success.
You can't not be.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's like, again, second highest number of concurrent players, beating out Dota and GTA and stuff like that. So yeah, well done to them.
Good stuff. All right, and the last two questions of the night here from Mr. GZDR, who has been in the chat with us most of the night. First question is, do you see Rockstar ever making a cloud service app for Grand Theft Auto 6 to avoid giving Sony and Microsoft a 30% cut of the profit? No, I do not. That's not going to happen. They need those games on console to sell, you know? Mm-hmm. Like making it, and here's the thing, where would that app be? Right? Where are you going to put that app? On consoles, the Sony and Microsoft ain't gonna allow that. Put the fucking game on there, you know. And on PC, like you see some of the guys like here, they're not gonna just play on PC, you know. So that's not even realistic. And then the on Samsung TVs, yeah. But again, no one's gonna. It's just unrealistic. It's not gonna happen, you know. I know they take a 30% cut, but they make that money back. This is fucking Rockstar, you know? All right, and then the last question here for Mr. GZDR. If the next gen consoles are all digital, will you sell your physical collection knowing that optical drive support will be non-existent? Interesting question. I don't qualify. I don't buy physical games anymore. I haven't bought them for almost 10 years now.
Would I sell off my other console?
You know, would you sell off your physical collection of games?
What if all of a sudden the next generation is just all
Digital.
non-physical?
Yeah.
It's all digital?
Yeah.
No, why would I sell off the old stuff for?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. He's basically saying if the new console, since you're not going to get support for your current console with an optical drive, are you going to sell your physical games? I don't see why you would.
No, I wouldn't sell them off. I mean, to keep them around. Like here's the thing: if the future says that all that everything is going to be digital, and it sucks because I do like actually going somewhere and physically buying something. If it just means that that's just the way things are, then that's just the way things are. I'm not going to go and all of a sudden I'm going to sell all my old stuff,
like Xbox.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do that. Like I've already bought the games, and it's just furthermore reason to keep the old console around. Officially, right now, I actually don't need a PlayStation 4. I still got my PlayStation 4, but I don't need a PlayStation 4 because essentially my PlayStation 5 is now the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 and 5.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. What about you, Rich?
Well, this is a very interesting question. First and foremost, the answer is no, because I do not want to get taken advantage of by GameStop. Yes. We already know you give GameStop you spend $60 on a game. Lucky if you get $5 for that game in return or store credit. But no. And one thing I will say is you and I know this pretty well. There was a time when we started reviewing games where we used to get the physical games, and then that all changed when they just send codes. So I'm fully digital now. I don't I don't do any physical stuff anymore. So
it's funny, Rich. I was thinking about that. The last time I got a physical game was in 2014. That was the last time, and I'm glad that was the last time because these fucking it was from FedEx. FedEx is the worst. They fucking they came to my house. They said no one was there. I was there, and then they sent it off to the UPS like packing district or whatever. The main building. It was this place called Maspeth, which ironically is close to me now, but was far as fuck back then. So I had to travel like 2 hours to get this shit.
Oh no.
And the game was fucking ass. It was some fucking anime game. So I'm like, please don't send me any more physical games. Keep these motherfuckers digital, But that was also the same year when I realized, wait, I have to install the entire game into the hard drive. Why am I buying these physical? This doesn't make any sense anymore. Think about it like this: every Nintendo Switch game I own is physical because you don't have to install the whole thing. That makes more sense to me. But basically, when I learned that basically physical discs are just like a carrying mechanism for the game, I'm like, let me just download it. It's going to be the same end result regardless, And it's extremely rare I even like replay games. And I'm not a reseller either. I've never really. The only games I've ever sold are games so bad I don't want them in my house. Like fucking Killzone Shadowfall and fucking and I'm sorry about this, Joey Polanco knack. I'm like, get that shit out of here. This game suck. So yeah, I'm not a reseller, and so digital for me. So the future, whatever they decide doesn't fucking matter. Matter of fact, the only reason I bought a physical PS5 is because that was the only one available. But although I am glad I did, because I still do buy the occasional physical movie. I still want that because I will rewatch a movie. Anyway, anybody else in here? Who else is still? Chris, you're still a physical collector, right?
Yeah, but of classic games.
Yeah,
like
classic
NES,
games,
Super Nintendo, Genesis, all that stuff. But to his point,
yeah,
I don't see the point. Why would I sell my physical collection of even the few PS5 games I have or PS4 games when I'm not going to get rid of the system? if PS6 is all digital, okay, that's fine. Then that's just how I have to enjoy it. But if I want to go back and play a PS4 game that I have physical, I just hook up the PS4 and play it, just like I have my Genesis hooked up and I put in a cartridge and play it. I wouldn't I wouldn't see the point of dumping my physical collection, especially certain things are better. Like I have all my PS3 games, I have my 360 games. I'll never get rid of them.
Yeah. All right. And Brian, obviously you're all digital too, like me and Carlos.
Funny thing is, for PC, yes, but for console, I prefer physical. Most of those I disagree. I just disagree with the pricing on the PSN store. I think it's just way too expensive. So usually I get it physical, since there's usually 3-4 outlets that are trying to sell the same game, so they have like a discount where it's like 10%, 15%. So it's either pay full price on the store or get it like 15% off. So physical.
Oh wow, interesting.
Exactly. So in line with the question, if next gen was all digital, no, I wouldn't sell any of my physical games. Again, I'm with Tony. I don't sell unless it's a game that I really don't like and don't want anymore. And if next gen is all digital, then chances are I won't be gaming on console unless, I don't know, GTA 6 will probably come out for next gen as well, so that's the thing. Yeah. But unless my friends really want me to come online and play, then no, I won't. I'll just dump it, because, again, I really don't want to pay those stupid prices on the store.
Shout out to Otaku Man who's in the chat. He goes, I am forever physical. There you go. Yeah, interesting question, man. Yeah, we'll see what happens next gen. I think again, Sony with the toe dip, right? I think what they're going to do with their next console is it's probably going to be a digital console, but with like a hard drive attachment, just like the PS4 5 Slim. I think that's a test. This is a test. All right, that's going to do it for us, man. Another good show. Couple of things here to let you guys know. So this upcoming Thursday show will actually be a Friday show. We would have done it on Wednesday, but there's an embargo that we're trying to adhere to. So we're going to do the show on Friday. And the reason we're doing it Thursday because Manny and I won't be around, and I need to be around to talk about this game. I'm not going to say what game it is, but I'm pretty sure you could guess what it is. So we'll do a Friday show, same time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be interesting on our fucking Friday, Hold on a second. What's this? GZDR. Okay, so he's explaining his question here. Because I was admittedly kind of confused by the question. I'm like, why would you sell your games if, you already own them, The idea being, as time passes, it will be harder to get parts for your machine if it breaks down. Ask the Laserdisc owners, Betamax tape owners, Sega Saturn. It would be easier to sell your physical games and just emulate them. I guess I understand the logic, but I'm like, I have my Sega Saturn games. I can't play them. I don't plan to sell them, and I can't emulate those fucking games, And again, so Manny, what do you think about this? Like, you 20 years from now, your system can't play these games anymore. But why would you want to sell your games? So it doesn't make any sense to me. You're muted.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't want to sell them. To be honest, like I also don't know if my Sega Saturn can play games anymore. I also don't know if my 3DO can play games. Definitely, there is the option to be
probably
able to
not, because don't optical drives kind of give out after like 2 decades or something? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, they go pretty bad, and also like at least for the 3DO, the memory, there's a memory thing that happens. So all of my save data is all gone with. No, I don't see, like, I mean, I still want to keep them around even if they don't work, It's just the way it is. Like, to be honest, like, and then also if you are paying attention to the classic gaming community, there's actually a lot of really great alternatives. Like, you can buy your replacement drives, lenses for your Dreamcast if you're savvy enough. So all of those things can be pretty much preserved. And there's just something to playing granted the now the emulation experience is probably better than it ever is, because now the console, the PCs have the sheer amount of power that can push all those games, but still going to keep them around. I mean, and if anything, I would, and I've done this before. I have a friend who's a really big, classic game collector. And I just said, you know what? Let me send it to him, because I know at least he would take care of it, and do all kinds of upkeep on it. So I would much rather. The likelihood of me selling is not so much, but the idea of the possibility of me giving it to somebody who somebody who would take care of it, I would definitely do that.
Cool. All right, man. So we're done with another show. Good stuff. Like I said, we're going to do the Thursday show on Friday, and it'll be very interesting. You definitely want to stick around for that. Do we have anything we need to plug around here? Rich, I'm going to go to you, man. What's going on with the coalition this week?
Very good question. Well, I know mainly Carlos, myself, and Adam Vale, we will be recording the episode of The Ones Who Live. I guess that's what it's called, right, Carlos? The Walking Dead spinoff.
So, The Ones Who Live, formerly known as the Rick and Michonne Show. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, we will be recording that sometime this upcoming weekend, so stay tuned for that. As for the coalition, we're working on a couple of different reviews, coverage of a couple of different games, so stay tuned for that.
That's what's up. Those Who Live, that sounds like the name of those knockoff The Last of Us toys from China, It's hilarious, man. Oh, and the last thing I want to say, Rich, again, I want to, thank you for, being a permanent member of Throwdown. Even by tonight, you could already tell that, how awesome your contribution has been, man. And I know, moving forward, it'll be special. And also another thing I just realized too, having you here on a regular basis, it's also good for the co-op fans, because co-op is a little bit of a hiatus. So, now people get to hear your thoughts on gaming each and every week, twice a week, You
are 100% correct. There is something coming in the future. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say the co-op is officially. I mean, yeah, it is on hiatus, but there is something else that I have been talking about with our very good friend Fergus Mills. So,
Fergus Mills.
Shout out to Fergus Mills, man.
So stay tuned for that in the future. We just have to work on a couple of things we have to talk through, but yeah, I very much enjoy. Thank you for the opportunity to come on the show, to be on the show regularly. I always enjoy talking with you guys as well as the fans. So looking forward to seeing where everything goes from here. Nothing but success.
You already know, man. So, Rich, don't call it a comeback for the co-op.
Yeah, no. The co-op is definitely on a hiatus. Our very good friend Gary is not. He doesn't do too much gaming. Yeah. However, there is some stuff that he is going to be playing, and he may have something to say about that. So I would stay tuned for that for sure.
Shit. GZDR asks, is Richard doing a Bob Marley One Love movie review as well as Madam Web?
Well, it's funny you mentioned this. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned this, because I actually saw that movie today. I saw the Bob Marley movie today. I don't know if we're going to do a review. I saw that Dana, she did a post saying that Madam Web is the worst movie of 2024. So I'm going to direct that question to her and see if she wants to review it. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if I'm going to ever see the movie, but I'll just say stay tuned. There may be some comments about these movies in the future for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, Rich,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just bought tickets for a certain movie that comes out at the end of the month, at the beginning of the next month.
Oh,
So-
I may have bought
Yes,
tickets for me and Manny for that as well. You know, it's
Wait, what
ti-
day?
the second, I
What?
believe. It's time to leave. Cold New York and head to the desert.
Oh, there
Yes.
you go. Yep.
And
going
I'm
the
glad
first.
I'm glad you reminded me because I need to get them tickets soon because I already saw that. It's already starting to sell out. So
Yeah, but it's funny. I was talking to one of my friends, about this movie. We all know him, some of us on the podcast, and he was like, I'm pretty. He's like, oh, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna go to a screening. And I was like, ironically enough, I did get invited to a screening in L.A., and I ain't going to no fucking L.A. Fuck that. So I'm like, I'd rather just pay for my ticket and see it here in New York instead of going to horrible Los Angeles. Yes, I'm part of the Screenwriters Guild and shit. I go get invited to screenings. That would be dope. And they ain't even paying for it. I'm like, no, chill. Not to LA of all places.
You'll just watch it at the comfort of your city.
Exactly. Oh man, I can't wait to see this movie. And yes, I've seen a lot of the content creators I follow on YouTube. They've all watched Madam Web and they all just roasted the shit out of it. The movie sounds horrible. This movie only exists to keep extending that license that they have. That Sony has for the Spider-Man franchise, even though they can't mention fucking Spider-Man. It's hell. How you gonna have Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man? It makes no fucking sense.
Simple. They have spider people.
People. Apparently, in this movie, no one gives a fuck if I spoil stuff. Apparently, in this movie, Peter Parker is born, but they can't call him that. They can't say anything. Uncle Ben's in the movie. He's like a paramedic, and someone literally goes like, when you're given great responsibility, it turns into great power. Like they totally just butchered the fucking line. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
So instead of Peter Parker, did they call him Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, maybe they do. Jesus, man. So stay tuned to the coalition. They may or may not have a review of that.
Well, I will say stay tuned, but there is one comment I do want to make, and hopefully this is not too controversial. I will just say this: when you see, as you mentioned, Tony, when you see content creators commenting on this, if the content creator commenting on this is also a woman, that will tell you right there. Because that was their target audience for this movie, So that tells you
Rich, I'm sorry to cut you off, but ironically, just like with the Marvels, most of the people who went to see this movie were men. It wasn't women. Isn't that ironic?
Yes.
Maybe call them Madam Men.
Yeah, maybe if you just made a good movie, everybody go see it. Not just for a specific set of people. But
That's
there
true.
it is. What a waste, man. The girls are hot too in that movie. I'm like, oh well, like you got some hot girls and you can't even take advantage of that. Like that what was her face, Sydney Sweeney? Yo, she's like the second coming of Charlotte Johansson in her prime, man. She's fucking hot,
Oh yeah.
Like, where's this chick from? I actually looked her up. Like, oh, she's a legit because people are like, oh, she has a big following on Twitter. I'm like, oh, she's one of those people. But it turns out she's an actual real actress.
Oh yeah. Her show Euphoria, the same show that Zendaya is in.
Yeah.
That's what she got popular from.
Okay, yeah,
Zendaya's in Dune.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yep.
Is it Zendaya or Zendaya? I always say Zendaya.
I always said Zendaya.
Yeah.
I think it's Zendaya.
Zendaya. That's what That's the way I say it. Zendaya. That's the way I would say it. Carlos, I told you this before, since the first language, even though I think in English, the first language I learned was in Spanish. So when I see a new word that I don't know, I'm going to say it the way a Spanish person's going to say it,
But
Zendaya. That's how I would say it,
But that's a smart thing to do, because when you're pronouncing it the way, like in a Spanish way, then it's more likely
works.
to work with different races, ethnicities, and countries and languages, and because English is just fucks up a lot of stuff.
The morphing vowels, right? In most languages, the vowel has one sound. That's it. In English, it's like A, I, O. It changes. It's just in other languages, I, E, O, O. That's it.
Yep, and that's pretty much the same everywhere else.
Yeah.
My favorite is Pacific Ocean. Every sea is different. Why? I don't know. Yep. And then you're going to say Pacific Ocean. That word's stupid. Great place, though. But word stupid.
English is weird if you think about it, you know? Like, are you content with your content? Write that down. See how that looks, you know? Anyway, we're getting off track here. Anyway, we will be here on Friday, people. You already know, man. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. You guys have been on fire in the last couple of weeks with all this crazy Xbox stuff. So shout out to you, keeping me informed of things. You can also find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show, space in between, Throwdown Show. Throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. And obviously, we are back on the YouTubes. So if you like the videos, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when we go live, baby. Not premieres, live. When we go live, we're interacting with you motherfuckers. We're here, you know? It's good stuff. It's good to be home. And the numbers are getting slowly better and better and better, which I'm noticing. So
good stuff.
Good stuff, man. Anyway, links down there in the description. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Brian Manjoma.
Madam Web, a film so bad it's been compared to Morbius and it's losing.
Yo, somebody said this movie literally reminded them of the bad days of Elektra and Catwoman. That's how you know shit is bad, man. All right, guys, we'll see you on Friday. Later.
Friday.